Hey, I am that one composer, and today we're taking a quick look at Scorpio. Artistry Audio describes Scorpio as a next-level modern motion synth. If you're looking for an instrument that adds interesting motion and effects to some really great sounds, this is something maybe you should check out. For electronic music, Scorpio is a no-brainer for everything from subtle to aggressive. But as someone who often finds themselves in need of a synth that will work well in a more cinematic setting, I wanted to run it through the paces a bit to see how it would work for creating a short score. So I've put a bunch of free video clips from Pexels together into a fictitious trailer, and I wrote a short cue that features a dozen or so Scorpio sound banks so that you can hear for yourself how it can work in a setting like this. I'll play the cue with the video reel, and then I'll take a dive into the mock-up so that you can see how each of the pieces is working together. All right, let's jump in. The first thing that I need to say is that all of the main instruments here are being played by Scorpio, and there's a few of the instruments in the percussion category that I'll go through at the end. Those are the only instruments that aren't Scorpio. So it makes sense that we would start at the top here, and what I'll do is play each of these instruments so you can kind of hear it by itself, and then we'll pair some of these together so you can hear what they sound like. All right, so starting with this sound called Wizard World, this is what it sounds like. So the cool thing about a few of these is that I'm playing staccato notes, short, but if you hold them, you open up a whole other world. So this is what it sounds like when you hold them down a little bit. So there's a ton of motion in there and some really interesting sounds. Some of these that may have different sounds, whether they're shorter or longer, I'll try to play those for you so you can hear what they sound like. Heading down to Westworld here. This piano alone is worth the price of admission with Scorpio. There's something about it that I love. Kind of got a wobbly sort of sound to it. I love it. And then we're down to Balloon Man. That's just sort of creating a bit of a riser here. And here's what that sounds like. But for that single note riser, it sounds really cool. All right, once we get past the beginning, here on this pattern, you can see that the notes are moving in an upward arpeggio. And when we got past that first couple of bars, I wanted to switch it up a little bit. And so these next couple are a downward arpeggio, and Distant Lights starts that. And again, this is one of those sounds that is being played really short, but I'll let you hear what it sounds like longer. So again, some really cool motion with some bell sounds at the top. But when you play it short, you get that. And then the second bar, I'm doubling that up with string fling. And this is what string fling sounds like. So when you put those two together, you get this. So it's a nice subtle second layer happening there, and this is what string fling sounds like by itself. Let's kind of rock those all together at this point. And one of the things I forgot to do, I'm realizing right now, is to just play through the Westworld patch by itself so that you can kind of hear what's happening there. So here we go. So it's this really warm, undergirding analog kind of sound. Man, I love that patch. All right, enough with that patch. Okay, taking a look at starting point here. I love the movement in this patch, but I felt like there wasn't quite enough sub bass happening there to kind of punch you. So I added another bass sound with Scorpio Destination Unknown. And it's kind of an organ sort of sound, but it's got a really nice solid sub. So you put those two together, you get a nice sounding bass undergirding here. All right. Dream State is adding kind of this ethereal pad sort of sound over the top here. So this is what that sounds like. And what I've done here is a little bit of pitch bending, so you can hear it happening partway through the note. I just wanted to add to that mysterious kind of feel in the cue. And I like the sound of this patch being bent a little bit. So the other part of this is pretty similar to that. We'll take a look at distant piano here. So this instrument is what's adding most of the melody that you're hearing. It kind of emerges. I pulled down the sound in the arpeggio, and this is sort of poking its head out as the main melody. And this is what this patch sounds like by itself. It's got a really nice ethereal electric keys kind of sound to it. All right. On to elevate. And here we've got another pad kind of sound that's just sort of supporting and building that whole cue to the end. And it does have some bass notes in it that are just, again, kind of reinforcing that sound. And this is what this sounds like. Okay, moving through. City of Atlantis, this is just kind of a ringer at the end. And I've got a couple of them. This is what it sounds like. So nice high. Some nice movement there. We'll get to another one of those stings when we look at Pacemaker, but first let's go to Katana. And this is also just a really super cool sound, and I'm using it here as a riser. I did add a little bit of reverb to it, so it's just kind of hanging there. But this is what it sounds like without any of that on it. It's got a really nice, dark, kind of rising sound on it. To our last sting here. And again, done a little bit of pitch bending in there. Just sort of increase the feeling of mystery and the unknown. And this is kind of a cool, ethereal, ambient sort of sound. That's the bulk of all the pieces that are Scorpio, and I'll just hit the percussion stuff really quick. I'm using a couple of patches here from an instrument called Rhythmus from Naroth Audio. These are found sounds that have been put into a loop, and you can have a lot of control over volume on each of them, which instruments are used. Really cool addition from Naroth Audio. And this is what that sounds like. We'll just listen to this first patch clang. So some nice toppers in there, just a really subtle driving percussion, and this comes in underneath it, and this is a patch called Quantum Realm, and it sounds like this. So again, kind of lower percussion, and the two of these working together sound like this. All right, next piece I have in here is from Klevgrand, and I love these natural percussion libraries that they have. This one's called Slammer, and again, it's got a little bit of compressor on it and some reverb, just to kind of make those percussion sounds a little bit further in the background and make them sound epic. And this is what that sounds like. And then other than that, I've got a couple of quick booms from my sample libraries that are just sort of accenting certain moments. And that's it. So let's listen to the whole thing together. Sometimes you find an instrument or a group of instruments that are set up in a way that they speak the way you listen. I love the sounds in Scorpio. I love the variety. I love the movement and character that's been added to them. And it's one of those instruments that offered me tons of inspiration. I find it super accessible and easy to create sounds. The fact that there is an A and B bank for sound sources means that you can either mix the two sound sources or use the original sound source. If you are looking for an instrument that's similar but focuses more on bass, you should give their Monolith bass engine a look. There's a good chance that instrument will also make an appearance here. A huge thank you to all of the contributors on Pexels that make reels like this possible. If you're looking for stock video, please take a minute and check out some of their amazing work. Links are in the description below. Until next time, thanks for watching. I hope this has motivated you to get the music that's in your head out into the world. Cheers.